Yahweh once again, giving all praises to
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Mahashem, Yahweh Shai, Mahashem, Rakah HaKodash.
So, let's start with the main thing. You heard about what Trump did in D.C., how he enacted the laws to bring in, what are the authorities over there? I forget right now. But you know what I mean. It mirrors the ICE raids that they had a month or so ago. And so they're coming up in Jake's hood. And we all knew it was going to come to this. It started off with the Latinos, Northern Kingdom. And now it's coming down to you niggas. So, is it really a surprise? No.
Because we all know, like, the people that's here illegally, it's not just, you know, the Latin tribes and stuff like that. But that's who they're focusing on, Israel.
That's because they know who we are.
Right. They're not focused on the Somalians that's here illegally, the Arabs. It's just Jake.
And so, this is just the start. Like, I believe that this is them seeing what they can do and get away with and see how it will work out. Because, to be honest, we don't even know what's going to ensue after this thing. We don't know if this is going to spread to, like, other states. I mean, I know Trump said that, oh, we got to clean up Baltimore. We don't even talk about them no more. So, I mean, right now it's in D.C., so let's see if it spreads.
I could see it spreading because DC is bad. Like, it's terrible out there out here. It's like the nation's capital. Like, you go up the street and see the fucking, you know, nation's capital. But down the street, you got people selling drugs and getting murdered.
You know what's funny? You know, DC lingo is Mo. For some reason, the spirit had me saying Mo to myself. I don't know if you know about that lingo. They'd be like, yo, Mo. I was watching the video. They was like, yo, they was talking about the police. It was like, yo, Mo, don't give them a reason. Because they was really getting ransacked in their own hoods. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes in DC though, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, people underestimate how hood it is over there.
Facts. I mean, it's the whole DMV area in general. Like DC, Maryland, Virginia, is gross.
And you gotta remember, that was a stomping ground for the crack era. Dudes used to go to DC to get money.
Right.
And we all know what the crack era did. That did a number on our people. That affected a generation, entire generation. So you got crack babies running around over there. The hood's all messed up. People are impoverished. You know what I'm saying?
You had literal
No jobs.
literal hitmen in DC, like Wayne Perry and all of them.
Yeah.
Have 30 murders on you. Like, that's wicked as fuck.
Remember the DC sniper?
Yeah. So I can read some of this article. This is from BBC News. It says U.S. National Guard troops have began appearing on the streets of Washington, D.C. a day after.
Yeah. It's the National Guard.
It says a day after President Donald Trump deployed the troops to the city and took control of its police force as he argued violent crime was out of control.
But that's just an excuse.
I mean, he's not lying though. He's not lying.
But he's using this as a cover up as to go after Jake.
Right.
You mean to tell me because one representative gets robbed that you enact a law to bring in the National Guard into people's neighborhoods and tell them that they can't be outside?
Right.
Oh, now you want to do something? Like, no, this is just a test. This is your way of seeing like how things is gonna go. To stop things before, you know, protests may get organized, stuff like that. Because if they could do this, bring in the National Guard, then they could do anything against the U.S. citizens.
They didn't do nothing when that healthcare worker got clipped in Manhattan, but that's because it's Manhattan.
Yeah.
It says armored vehicles were spotted at urban centers and tourist sites around the U.S. Capitol on Tuesday evening. Officials have said that 800 National Guard troops are expected to employ, as well as 500 federal law enforcement agents. That's a quote.
You got a precept? Scripture?
This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. And this is just on a micro scale, you know. It's gonna get even worse than this. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." You see, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your neighborhoods just get rushed with National Guard troops. But we said this was coming, but you people, I guess you didn't believe us. Now it's here. You never thought that the National Guard would come into your cities, into your neighborhoods, and start ransacking shit. But here we are, and that's just DC, where of course there's a high population of Jake in DC. So next is gonna be Philly, you know, Maryland, Virginia. You know, I can see it hitting all across the nation.
I got a scripture.
They're gonna do a number on Philly.
Oh, them niggas deserve it out
They're
there.
gonna clean up Kensington and all that. Read a little more. I'm gonna look for that.
Got it. This is 1 Peter 4:17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? So this is how it starts. You see 2/3 about to receive their judgment. You know, because they're really angling this with crime. And so who's the ones that's committing the crime? The wild Jakes out there. You know what I'm saying? Did you see that video in Chicago? That dude, he was just sitting in his car.
Yeah.
And he got smoked on live stream.
Yeah, for his chain.
Exactly. So we got stuff like that going on around the nation, around the country. It's not just DC. You also got Memphis, which they're like one of like the highest murder capitals in the country, if not the highest. That's what I heard.
Milwaukee. Very aggressive Milwaukee.
Yup.
They did a documentary on it. I forgot the name of it, but Milwaukee ain't nice either. Don't think we're going over there and it's sweet.
Ohio. So it's gonna spread. Got another scripture. This is Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So, for the first time, we're seeing blacks get targeted by law enforcement. People thought, oh, it's just gonna stop at ICE. You know, all the illegals that are gonna get rounded up and get deported. You know, they deserve it. They was here illegally. Remember Jake was hating on the Northern Kingdom?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now look.
So they was getting all the benefits. Jake
So
was
this could
hating.
be it.
I'm sorry.
Now you can
Sorry.
come. Good.
This is Romans 13:3. Read it in the NLT. Romans 13:3 says, "For the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong."
Oh, read that again.
Yeah, Romans 13:3 in the NLT. It says, "For the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. Would you like to live without fear of the authorities? Do what is right, and they will honor you. The authorities are God's servants, sent for your good. But if you are doing wrong, Of course you should be afraid.
Yeah, so really, we don't have nothing to worry about. We don't have nothing to fear. At least not yet.
Right.
You know, it's beginning with these wild jakes. However, we know that it's not going to be just them, you know. Eventually, they're going to pass a law. They're going to have a reason to go after people that are deemed or classified as domestic terrorists. And if we was ever to get locked up, we'd be on something like that. You know what I'm saying? They would classify us as that. Because we're in this truth, right? And so eventually there's going to be a famine of the word, you know, like the scriptures speak about. And so they're going to come after the men of the Lord.
To persecute us, they're gonna have to lie on us.
Yeah.
These jakes that's getting roped up now, they deserve it, honestly. They're wicked as hell. Romans 13:4 in the NLT. It says, the authorities are God's servants sent for your good. But if you are doing wrong, of course you should be afraid. For they have the power to punish you. They are God's servants sent for the very purpose of punishing those who do what is wrong. So you must submit to them, not only to avoid punishment, but to also keep a clear conscience.
Yeah, so I mean, if all of 2/3 listen to the prophets, then there wouldn't be no 2/3. So somebody's got to be the ones that receive that wrath and judgment from the Most High to be so. You know, that's just how it is. This is Revelation 12:10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of Mashiach Yahushua. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before the Most High day and night. So you said to come after us, you're going to have a make-believe reason, a false reason. And that's how it's going to be.
They're gonna have to paint a narrative about us, you know.
Because we're peaceful, man. You know what I'm saying? All we do is just get into the scriptures and prophesy. That's it. Prophesy the end of this kingdom. I can keep going. Verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, by the sword of their testimony, by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. So when they come after us, it's not gonna be like, you know what? We don't want to lose our lives. You know, we're good people. Like, nah, we're not gonna plead to them. You know what I'm saying? So however they paint us is how they paint us. You know, we don't even give a damn about this society and like trying to preserve ourselves and you know, receive a prize in this kingdom. We don't care about it.
Right.
So whatever happens, happens.
This is Matthew 10:16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You know, us that's doing the work, you know, in sincerity and truth, you're not gonna find us, you know, starting trouble, stirring up strife. We just out here to do the work and go home. That's it.
That's it.
We're not looking for no trouble. And if you come to us with trouble, we're gonna just ignore you and ask you to just walk down the street. Because we're not out here for that. We're not out here for conflict or to have a back and forth so our YouTube channel can blow up or this video get mad views. It's not about that. So we could put some salacious title on the video.
Yeah, if we wanted to do that, we could do that.
Right. It's not hard.
But that's not the route we take. Like, we're sincere about this. If you notice, people that chase clout, it never ends well for them at all.
Just know, if that camp that you're watching, they got a logo, chances are they probably not right. Because they trying to market themselves and get glory here in America. You notice Great Millstone, they don't have no logo. You see some of the videos, you don't even know most of the brothers' names. It's just about the word. That's all it's really about.
GMS.
Right, that's all it's about.
You know the name, you know the rest.
This is Proverbs 1 and 32 in the NLT. It says, "For simpletons turn away from me to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency. But all who listen to me will live in peace, untroubled by fear of harm." And you see these jakes out in the world, you know, the YNs, they're okay with the way they're living. They're complacent with it. You know, as long as they got some money in their pocket, it don't matter how they get it, whether they gotta rob somebody, sell drugs, scam. They're okay with the way it is they're living.
Even the women, they for years and years, they was complacent, living off government assistance. And you see how they about to take that away. So look how that works. Really, this whole time, this whole entire duration of this kingdom, you should be looking to like better yourself, like spiritually, mentally. Like you gotta get your mind, body, and soul right. But the average person that's in a society, they're caught up in the web of capitalism, chasing after a dollar. And you can argue that it's not their fault because that's just the way that Esau set this kingdom up. Therefore, people that spiritually discerned, like they're not concerned about repenting, getting right, hearing prophecy, because to them, it doesn't better their situation now.
This is Ezekiel 22 and 5. It says, "There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof." It says, "Like a roaring lion ravening the prey, they have devoured souls, they have taken the treasures and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profaned among them." You see, because Israel, they have no respect for the Lord, and that's why all of us, that's why we're all in the condition that we're in now, in subjection under the heathen. You know, where the president can let National Guards roll up in your hood and just ransack your hood, even if you're not doing nothing, you just sitting there. It's like on you remember the last scene in Do the Right Thing, when the police came through the neighborhood and fucked the whole neighborhood up. It's gonna be like that here again, but on a very, very severe level. But you people, you just can't get right. Everybody's here just having a good time like it's 1997 or something. That was the point.
A lot of scripture. Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel knows not. My people do not consider. So our people, I mean, you try to tell them who they really are, you tell them that they're the Israelites, 12 tribes of Israel, it's just gonna go over their heads. But the elites, they know who we are, which is why they target us. They're trying to wipe us out.
Let the white man be out here, you know, set up like we set up, trying to tell our people who they are. They'll believe them. You know, just because, you know, the white man's always right. You know, white is right. You know, we're not looked at in any high regard here. That's why when we say it, it comes with a bunch of skepticism with it. Like, yeah, maybe it makes sense, but kinda, I don't know. Like that Jake a couple weeks ago, he's like, yeah, but I praise Jesus. But let the so-called white man tell him that that's not the name of the Heavenly Father's Son, it's Yahweh Shai. He'll really give it some serious thought. Like, oh, he might be right. He might know what he's talking about.
But you know what their thing is? They believe in the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
So they believe Jesus is God. God is Jesus.
Which is low level. This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 3. It says, "O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction." They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, surely these are poor. They are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord Yahweh, nor the judgment of their power. Yeah, so that's clear as day. You know, 2/3, they don't want to come back to the Lord and repent. They're okay with the way their lives are now. As long as the people can get up and go to work, they're okay.
Yeah, but what are they gonna do when the economy collapses? When the dollar collapses? What are these people gonna do? They're gonna lose their minds.
Now is the time to get right during the grace period. By the time all hell breaks loose, people gonna want to get right. It's gonna be too late.
Here it is.
That's Jake though.
Here it is. We're $37 trillion in debt. Yeah, Trump loses it. He loses his mind over one person getting mugged or robbed in DC.
Right.
That should show you that his intent, his true intent, is being like covered up. It's being hidden.
Jeremiah 29:17 says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts. Behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. And right now you could say, you could use what Trump is doing as an example of the sword, you know? The Lord sending upon the sword, because really it's the Lord that's doing all of this, that got Trump sending the U.S. National Guard into your neighborhoods. Really, it's all the Lord's doing, but he's using it as a whipping stick on Israel, because y'all just don't want to get right. So now y'all just got to get punished. It says, and I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse and an astonishment and an hissing and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them.
Yeah, a reproach, meaning the 12 tribes of Israel look down upon so-called Latinos, blacks, Native Americans. We look down upon.
Right.
Why do you think it's being targeted by the government? You don't hear about them going after any of these European immigrants,
Right.
Arab immigrants, East Indian immigrants that come over here and get their college degrees, and they go off to get a 6-figure paying job working for Google or Apple. You know what I'm saying? Trump don't got no issues with that.
Jeremiah 29:19 says, because they have not hearkened to my words, saith the Lord Yahweh, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but ye would not hear, saith the Lord Yahweh. Hear ye therefore the word of the Lord Yahweh, all ye of the captivity whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. That's the point. You read Habakkuk already? This is Habakkuk chapter 1. I'll start at the top. It says, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. It says, O Lord Yahweh, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why doest thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeded.
Yeah, because it's like, sometimes I be asking myself, not even myself, I be asking the Most High, I'm like, yo, when you gonna do something to these niggas? Like, you got people like Cardi B walking around, you got this wicked ass Jake that commit crimes against one another, that rob and kill one another. Like, when are they gonna receive their judgment? Well, the truth is, it's gonna happen, but it's just gonna happen in God's time, because the scriptures say that the Most High is slow to anger, but He doesn't acquit the wicked. So we're gonna enter into the time where these Jakes, these 2/3, they get their just due, they get their judgment. That's it. The reason why I spoke about Cardi B, did you see that cover of her? Like I think it was like an album cover or like a song cover, a single. And it's like she had her new baby. Like she was holding her new baby, and she had her legs like wide open. Like it looked so weird. I just looked at that. I was like, I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, this is what it's come to. And nobody says anything. It's like people are desensitized to all the wickedness that goes on in this kingdom, or in this earth rather.
It's actually praise. You're rewarded for being wicked. Habakkuk 1 and 5.
When you listen to the music, the rap music, like it's so low vibrational, especially like the female artists. I mean, they bring down men, they talk badly about men. And then I think, like, well, technically men did the same thing about women, same derogatory things. So I guess they feel like there has to be like a counter to what the men was doing, rapping about. So now you got women thinking they got a voice in music. So it's like the whole vibration in this world is just off.
Right. It's Habakkuk 1 and 5. It says, behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told to you.
You know what that's talking about?
Yeah, the end.
It's talking about when the apostles were sent forth to the Gentiles. I used to think that too.
I'm going to read a little bit more. 6th verse says, for lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land, to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs.
But you could say that it's twofold, though. You could apply it to today. Because now that we see the Most High getting ready to curse this kingdom, it's like, it's a beautiful thing to see. Most High's getting ready to do something.
He's the Lord, you can see him. He's just putting all the pieces in the right place, you know. He's just putting things into motion. And then when it's time, it's going to happen so fast. Like, that's important.
Scripture. Second Ezra 9 and 20 in the RSV. So I considered my worlds, and behold, it was lost, and my earth, and behold, it was in peril because of the evidences, because of the devices of those who had come into it. And I saw and spared some with great difficulty, and saved for myself one grape out of a cluster, one plant out of a great forest. You can bring it down.
Yeah, it's talking about, you know, how he's going to save the elect, and the 2/3 are going to get cast down to destruction.
Yeah, and then remember what I said earlier about how the vibes in this earth is just off?
Right.
So it's not like everything that's going on in this kingdom, like the Most High don't see. He sees what's going on. And the wrath of the Most High is getting ready to come upon this earth. Mainly on this kingdom, Babylon the Great. Because this place gotta go, man.
Right. It's really, America is a parasite on the planet Earth. You know, through its philosophies, now it's getting to other countries, you see?
And then, you know how you should know that, like, this whole system is a scam? You see how they back the small hats. They already show you who their allegiance is to. They show you who runs this country. You know what I mean?
You can't even say that, though, or you're going to lose everything you have. So people got to act like they don't know what's going on.
So that should tell you everything right there.
The people you can't talk about is the people that got the power.
Yeah.
That can take everything from you.
So all these politicians, man, they just in somebody's pocket.
Right.
But you got the average person walking around thinking that they have a voice, thinking that their vote matters, still believing in this game. verse 22. So let the multitude perish, which has been born in vain. But let my grape and my plant be saved, because with much labor I have perfected them. Verse 23. But if you will let 7 days more pass, do not fast during them. However, but go in after a field of flowers where no house has been built, and eat only of the flowers of the field, and taste no meat and drink no wine, but eat only flowers, and pray to the Most High continually, that I will come and talk with you.
Precept. This is Matthew 13 and 47. It says, again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into the vessels, but cast away the bad. So this is speaking like in a parable. So imagine, you're a fisherman, you cast your net out, and you drag in a multitude of fish. You'll have flounder. What else? Help me. Flounder, whiting, catfish.
I'm thinking about what they can fish for in the Middle East. I don't really know. Do they have monkfish?
Never heard of that. But the point is, so he's dragging in the good and the bad, but he's gonna take the good, as in, the lawful fish, you could say, and put them in the bucket. But the catfish, which is like into the 2/3, is going to get thrown back into the sea.
Yeah, monkfish is like another species of catfish. So that's like the unclean type fish. So it's like that, You got the undesirable fish, and you got the fish that you would like to catch.
Right. It says, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down, and gathered the good into the vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, the furnace of fire is talking about when the missiles get dropped. And when the chariots crack the skies and shoot down laser beams. That's like the closing curtain call right there. Like, that's going to be the end. And what lets you know that we're close to that is the meeting that Trump had with Putin yesterday, Friday.
Yeah.
I heard that they didn't even get nowhere. They didn't reach no agreement, no deal, no nothing. They left on bad terms, really. So what was the point of the meeting? That goes to show you that no matter what these politicians try to do or say, they can't stop this war that's getting ready to take place. Get that scripture.
I read that.
Oh, you read that one?
Ecclesiasticus 13, start at the 3rd verse. Yeah, 3rd verse. It says, the rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wrong, and he must entreat also. You see, because like the top wicked elite, just Edomites in general, Trump is acting like what's wrong with the world is the people here on this sign. But really what's wrong with the world is the top wicked elite, the ones that actually have power. Here it is, we're in a land that we just came to under subjection under the heathen, but where what's wrong with the world, like we have any power, any say so to change or do anything.
Yeah, and I just learned what the definition of black fatigue is. And I thought it was just black people being tired. But no, it's the opposite. It's whites being tired of blacks. And so you got people, you got Edomites with that mindset against Jake. And they're the ones that be front and center. They can't wait to fill out the application to sign up for ICE. They want to join. All of a sudden, they want to join. They want to join the National Guard. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's in their nature to have a hatred for us.
Black fatigue, the term itself is new, but the idea of it isn't, because you remember, I forgot, I think it was Eddie Murphy, he made the joke, he's like, you have black people and then you have niggas. You see, that's the difference, these Edomites, shit, even I got black fatigue.
The YNs.
Yeah. You see, those would be the niggas, you see? Everybody's just tired of niggas.
YNs walking around with their skinny jeans on.
With their ski mask.
Yeah.
In 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a spirit that's on them, a demon. 'Cause I couldn't imagine putting a ski mask on at 90 degrees with a hoodie on.
They be doing that shit in Philly.
Those niggas, you just gotta round them up. They gotta be, sent to war. Just gather them up.
Because that's the only reclamation for us as a people. Like, the ones that can't get right, that don't want to get right, they just have to be put to death.
Right.
Because if the Lord did what he did in Egypt, ancient Egypt, again all over, then you're going to run into the same problem.
Right.
What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So that would be crazy for the Most High to try to save the 2/3.
So Ecclesiasticus 13:4. It says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. And he's just gonna use you as long as he can use you. He had no problem dealing. He didn't have black fatigue when he was put crack in the communities. Had Jake funding a war by giving them cocaine, and then they rocked it up in the crack to destroy their communities. He didn't have a problem with black fatigue then. But now, since that's not profitable as it was then, now he's sick of Jake. Now you have no purpose. You can't serve him. Now he's through with you.
Yeah, Trump, he lied his way in. I mean, remember how he was pandering to the black community? And now
It says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. He will make thee bear, and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair, and say, what doest thou? And he will shame thee by his meats, until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn. Afterwards, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. That's the word. And that word jollity means lively and cheerful, activity or celebration.
So again, this is how it starts. He's going after the YNs. Then he's gonna go after the rest of the Jakes. And we believe Trump is the guy. Like the way he's been moving, like, and as fast as he's been moving,
Right.
passing all these laws, doing what he's doing.
For something just as simple as somebody being mugged, he's doing all this.
Yeah. I mean, he's been doing everything he said he was gonna do, even with the tariffs. The tariffs he enacted, and they're saying that that's gonna have a bad effect on the economy.
Going through that.
Prices of goods is gonna go up. Factor in inflation. So it's like We really might be out of here within this guy's term. Shoot. I might not be here another 2, 3 years. The way this guy's moving, been president for like what, 7, 8 months now? Look what he's done. So all the stuff that he's passed, just wait and see what's gonna happen after that. What's gonna be the result of the stuff that he's done? Between the Big Beautiful Bill, the Genius Act, pretty much enacting martial law on a whim. He's showing you that he can do what he wants to do in order for prophecy to be fulfilled.
This is Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, "In the Lord thy power, in the Lord Yahweh thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." So you see, with Trump in office, even Esau is starting to feel the squeeze. Even Esau is starting to feel the pain that Jake has been going through for years, the struggle that we've been going through for years.
$37 trillion this country's in debt, and you would think that that would be like the top priority, the main priority is to chop that down, but it's not.
Right.
If anything, the economy's gotten worse under this guy's rulership.
Now he's trying to take away your government assistance, but it's no secret that the so-called the Edomites, the so-called white men and women, they receive more government assistance than Jake does.
A lot of people think that it's the blacks, it's just Latinos that are taken away from the system, and they're the reason why we can't get what we feel we deserve. That's what the poor whites think. They think that Jake is the problem, when in all actuality, it's the top 1% that are the problem. They're the ones that are taking all the wealth and resources for themselves and then giving the crumbs to everybody else.
Again, though, you fell for Trump's tricks. You fell for the lip service.
Like, if the entire world woke up to this system and recognized who the problem is, then the elites, they would be in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
But everybody's scared to say something. Nobody wants to say something and risk of losing all they have.
And you can't say nothing. You can't, because they run everything.
Right.
They run the media. They run the banks. They run housing.
They run the news outlets. They control the news you get. So how can you really bring down the person that has control over everything?
Yeah.
That's why we gotta wait for the Lord to do it. This is Ecclesiasticus 12:17. It says, "If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands, and whisper much at change his countenance." You see, Esau will deceive you into thinking he is here to help you, but really he's just looking to, just pull the rug from under you and just have you, just trick you. You see, like credit cards and all that kind of shit, that shit is a trick.
Yeah, that shit is a scam in and of itself.
Anything you got to take out a loan for, because you got to pay interest. All of that shit is a trick.
However, this is a system that's based upon debt. You want to get a car, you have to take out a loan. You want to get a house, you got to take out a loan. Your credit score has to be a certain level. So that's wicked.
And people, they really see no problem with the so-called white man, but really he's your biggest problem.
And this system is getting ready to collapse. Like, this capitalist system was never meant to continue forever. It doesn't work. And Esau knows that. That's why he's getting ready to come down with great wrath, and he's passing the laws that he's passing. And when this whole thing comes down, you better believe he's gonna have a new system set in place. And that's gonna be the mark of the beast. Which is to see him.
This is Psalm 17:13. says, "Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword."
Yeah, and this is a prayer that was said to the Most High, deliver my soul. What did it say?
It says, "Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword."
Deliver thy soul from the wicked, which is the sword. So the wicked is Esau, Edom. The Edomites.
Esau, Edom, his whole purpose here on this side right now is to punish Israel. That was his whole purpose. And he's fulfilling his purpose, fulfilling the will of the Lord. You know? It says, "As for me," also like the 14th verse, it says, "From men which are thy hand, O Lord Yahweh, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure." You see that Esau, Edom, starting with the top wicked elite, most importantly, they have over 50% of the nation's wealth, over the world's wealth. Here it is, you got people that's destitute, nowhere to stay, and then you got those that's doing a little better, living check to check, and then you have this middle class, which is barely any of them left, but then you have the top wicked elite that have control over a majority of the wealth. How is that right? How does that make sense in any way? Here it is, you set up a nation. Say if you got a land and you want to establish your land and build it up, but you have control over majority of the wealth and the rest of the people just get what they can get. How do you expect your land to grow in that situation, to thrive in that situation? You're gonna have the haves and the have-nots, and once the gap gets too far, the people that's all the way at the bottom are gonna be looking at the ones at the top, wanting to take what they have because they have nothing. That's history for you. That's how it goes. And every civilization that crumbles, that's how it does. That's how it crumbles. The gap between the haves and the have-nots grow way too far.
That's the same thing that happened to the ancient Roman Empire.
Right.
The poor people, they got fed up with the rich.
The middle class, that was the buffer between the ones that's all the way at the bottom and the ones all the way at the top. But now the ones that was in the middle, due to what happened in 2022, they lost a lot of their businesses. So now they're at the bottom again, after they built themselves up to at least get to the middle.
Yeah, and then the dollar's not going as far as it used to.
Right.
So it's like what? You gotta earn more money for your lifestyle to continue.
You'll never catch up. Nor is it even worth it though. You gotta bust your ass. You gotta work like a slave. You're gonna have to put your health at risk to even amass some type of wealth here in America. The American dream is not even worth obtaining no more. It's too hard.
And then the concept of the 9 to 5 is already inhumane when you think about it anyway. I mean, you gotta sit in an office all day or work in a warehouse all day, and then it's just draining your soul, and you barely have any time for yourself.
5 days a week minimum. Like the Lord, there's more to life than this. But it's like people can't see that. As long as they can get up, go to work, they get that direct deposit, it's like, okay, everything is all good.
Man, as long as they can buy a house, their credit's good enough to get a house, and then they move in their family members to help chip in on the bills, they feel good about that. But that's like third world country status you're living on right there. That's the same thing they do in the third world countries. So what's the difference between the U.S. and a third world country?
I was talking to my grandfather last weekend, right? Because he bought his house in 1991. He told me it was $118,000 in 1991. And now, you got the people that keep calling his house trying to purchase his house from him. And now it's valued around $650,000. But he's telling them, like, all right, if I sell you my house, where am I gonna go? Because the price of living is too high. He was like, what you see now, how it's like, you see a house, you see 3 cars in the driveway, and then 4 other cars in the street.
It'll cost you $500,000.
Yeah, it's
at
like,
least.
The price of living is too high. You have 3 cars in the driveway, 4 cars in the street, and that's all the people living there. Some people got a room, some people have to live on a certain floor. It's like, people have to take people in to afford a mortgage now. Like, people can't sustain on their own no more. The That's the way that this devil got it set up, by trying to bleed the people for more and more and more until there's absolutely nothing left.
Yeah, you gotta spend like a good amount of your paycheck on some goddamn groceries. You could barely afford to put food on your table.
Right. You fuck around, at least spend $150 a week on groceries. Well, depending on how you eat, I should say.
You might just go there. You just might want some fruit,
$40.
some water.
$40.
You didn't even get to start buying like protein.
This is Psalm 17 and 14 again. It says, "From men which are thy hand, O Lord, Yahweh." Salakia, I read it again. It says, "From men which are thy hand, O Lord, Yahweh, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, and whose bellies thou fillest with thy hid treasure."
Yeah, and that's the rich. That's the LeBron James. That's the Floyd Mayweathers. That's the Jamie Foxx's. I seen a video of him. He hopped out of a nice car. Yeah, he had mad snow bunnies.
Hello, how you doing?
He had mad snow bunnies with him.
Yeah.
Nigga thought he was the illest nigga in Nebraska.
He on that like Tracy Morgan too.
Yeah, Tracy Morgan. He be rolling around in his nice ass cars, his classic cars. You know what I mean? He got that money for the settlement. Walmart. He got hit by a Walmart truck.
He would have never been living like that off his talent.
Off a comedy, hell no.
Off his talent, hell no. I don't even see him do nothing no more. He good. He living off that
He
money.
just be lounging, relaxing. He
The
going,
Nick game.
He going to Nick games.
He just enjoying the wealth. Like, I didn't even have to work for this. It says, "They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes." You know, an inheritance. It says, "As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness."
Yep. So that's when we're gonna be happy, when we wake up in the kingdom, man. Like, we cannot say that we're in a state of true happiness today. We can't. We can't.
And if you say you are, you're part of the problem. You're completely fucked up in the head. If you're happy here living like this.
I'm living my best life. I'm happy, man. Nah, fuck
Bullshit.
bullshit.
And yeah, you are, but what about the rest of your people? It's like you're the only one living fat while everybody else is struggling. What kind of life is that? That's when you gotta worry about a motherfucker robbing you on Instagram
that's-
Live for your chain and murdering you.
That's when you gotta worry about having a house in Beverly Hills and then people breaking in and robbing you, committing burglaries. Because, like you were saying, the gap between the rich and the poor, it's just like, it's just
Too far
it's
apart.
too far. Really, there is no more middle class. I mean, what's the middle class?
Right.
There used to be the days where a six-figure income, you know, you could get right with that. You know, you could buy a house, you could probably afford all your bills by yourself, but no, that's not even enough.
Right.
Especially when you got kids, factor that in, you're gonna need some help.
They said it takes, I believe it was $800,000 or $1 million to raise a child up until they're 18 years old. So imagine you got 2 and 3 of them motherfuckers.
Also, I believe they said that now to make 100,000, you gotta make 120,000 now. So the currency has devalued.
Yeah, to adjust for inflation.
Yeah, when you make that adjustment.
But again, this is the society you have with the wicked and rulership. That's why we need Yahweh Shah to come back and put everything back in its proper order, the way it was intended to be from the beginning, before sin.
Yeah, Mo. You see me on that.
That was it. That's how I had on there.
But yo, Mo, them dudes in DC they going, man, they funny. You seen that video? You seen the video of the National Guard rolling up in their hood,
No, I see.
harassing them, arresting them? And it's like, nobody's doing anything. Like, nobody's up in a frenzy about what this administration is doing. Breaking all these laws.
Because they can still go to work. take the jobs away from them, take away people's ability to make a living for themselves, then they might actually try and do something. But as long as people still are receiving that direct deposit every week or 2 weeks, they're not gonna do a motherfucking thing.
Breathing in pollution.
It's like people are, again, they just complacent. They're okay with the way the world is. They think this is how it was meant to be. And if you're complaining, you're just not working hard enough.
They think that this is as good as it gets.
Right.
You know, it's better than what their situation was in the country that they left. And then, you know, the whole idea of America was to make money anywhere. It's always been like the war that's been pimped. You know, the elites use it to get rich,
Even nation.
and the average people use it to try to get rich. But now we're seeing how it's like, ain't no more slice of the pie. It's shrinking and it's shrinking.
How wickedy Lee, he went the crumbs too.
And there's really no future for the next generation
At all.
at this rate.
At all.
Especially when you factor in AI getting ready to take over jobs. You know, I was saying before, like, I've said this before. A top tech company CEO said that within the next 1 to 5 years, the vast majority of jobs is going to be eliminated. The 9 to 5 is going to be obsolete.
Yeah, I can see that. You already see it now. You'll go to I can't remember the last time I've been to a grocery store and multiple aisles were open. It's always just one or two. It's been like that for years now. I remember back in the day, you go to the grocery store, almost every aisle will be open except maybe one or two.
Oh yeah, that's part of the automation.
Yeah, you got self-checkout and stuff like that now. Take it away from the jobs. Even you go to McDonald's, but you shouldn't be eating that shit anyway. They have a thing where you walk in and it's like a kiosk where you place your order there and then you pay and they give you the food over the counter. People aren't, there's barely anybody working over the counter anymore. You might have one person.
Yep.
So, signs are here, but these are the signs of the times.
So that pretty much negates getting a college degree. You know, unless you have like the right degree in a certain field, then you might get hired by Google. Or
I've seen even
Disney.
like robotics, like they have like robots doing surgeries, like open heart surgery and stuff like that now, which you could say is better because you have less of a chance of, you know, with humans, there's always going to be a chance of error, you know, human error. You can't help that. But with AI, because AI, the more you use it, the better it gets. It's like putting in reps. So it's going to be way better than anything a human could do.
Yeah, and then eventually people are going to be the new data.
They already are.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when you scan, like, you know, your barcode, and if you have memberships and all of that, that's the point of it. You know how like when you have like reward points when you go somewhere, that's the whole point of it. It's like you get something from it, but really your data is being sold. You know?
We're gonna close on that.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom. See you next time.